Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk about Game of Thrones over breakfast. It's Tony, Hans, and Jeremy in with you today, hitting season 7, episode 4, The Spoils of War and Orange Bourbon. I tried to sound like a nerd there, but why do I feel like it kind of turned into like Valley Girl?
I was thinking more tween at that point. Yeah. I was like,
oh my God. We've got alcohol in the scones. Jeremy.
Don't forget alcohol in the butter.
And the butter.
In the butter.
That's the ultimate tease for the audience right now. People, you need to stick around to hear how that goes down. Because we haven't even heard yet. So let's get through this bullshit first.
Is that your favorite butter? Is that the butter you would go with now?
That's your lubricant, Hans?
Yeah, I think it would have to be.
Yeah, that would nice. Burn. That would burn like a bitch.
It's alcohol, though. It's sanitary.
But sanitary. You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
I think when you mix it with butter, probably becomes less sanitary, but I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Y'all are the medical professionals.
It's sanitary.
Oh, well, let's see what happens in this episode. See if maybe Sanitarius Targaryen gets a little crazy. We'll find out. Do you guys want a little plot action for season 7, episode 4? Because I got to be honest, at this point, I think we're all significantly ahead of ourselves.
Yep, love it.
Awesome.
Give it.
It's a teeny tiny plot. I'm not going to say that it's going to teach us too much because it's short, sweet, and hardly to the point. But how would you like your ears to receive it today?
Keep it running. Fresh? Keep it running with the Valley Girl.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say good.
Oh my God! All right. Well, Daenerys holds court. Tyrion back channels. Cersei returns a gift, like whatever, and Jaime learns from his mistakes, which, like, he's made, like, a couple mistakes. He did that thing where he, like, raped his sister. Totally not fetch. And
isn't that the same plot as the last episode?
I swear I have the right one pulled up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't.
Because when you're reading, I was like, really? This seems very familiar to me.
Because I thought that we were recording the last episode, but we already did it, and we've already aired it. Okay, I've got the spoils of war here. It's, believe it or not, shorter. So I'll burn through this real quick.
All right. Give us nerd.
Okay. The Lannisters pay their debts. Daenerys weighs her options. She's got like 2 or 3 or a few. And Arya comes home.
I got like a...
Is that it?
A mom.
That's it, yeah.
Like a mom talking shit kind of thing.
You get a little... Are you saying that moms can't be nerds?
Oh, no. Moms are straight up nerds, right?
Yeah. Hella nerds.
Nerds.
Like, blech.
Blech.
Is fetch good or bad?
Moms.
Yeah. What does fetch mean?
I have no idea. I think it's like a thing from Mean Girls or something.
Never saw that. Was it any good?
You never saw Mean Girls?
No.
Oh my gosh. It is about 80% of the memes that live on the internet to this day. It's a great film. I mean, no, it's not. But it's a funny movie.
Is great the word?
It's got some solid quotes in it. One of Amy Poehler's best lines in anything comes from Mean Girls.
Is that is that Lindsay Lohan?
Yes, Lindsay Lohan.
Was that what made her famous? Or no?
Tina Fey. Well, no. What's the movie about the twins? I think was her first big thing, right? All I can think of is Mamma Mia. I'm 100% sure it's not called Mamma Mia. It's also not Sister Sister or The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Parent Trap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you now.
Big Lohan fan over here.
Yeah. Do you know that there's a whole conspiracy behind Lindsay Lohan being like having a twin sister that Disney murdered after Parent Trap? Because they don't think that effects were up to par for what was actually done in that movie back in the day.
Mm.
Oh, man.
And Disney just murdered them.
Yeah, just murdered her.
Naturally.
Paid their parents off. That's why their family's a mess right now, is because they just can't cope. Speaking of conspiracy theories, I know we've touched on this one before. Y'all are familiar with the Keanu Reeves is immortal theory.
Correct. Yeah.
Clearly.
I saw this most recent little teaser thing for Bill and Ted 3. Have you seen this?
No.
It is just Keanu Reeves, and I'm so sorry, I don't know the other guy's name.
No one does.
But it's just the two of them going like, hey, I'm the, and we're wild stallions. And then they talk about the fact that they're making Bill and Ted 3. Keanu Reeves looks fucking old in that clip. Like, I saw the John Wick thing recently, and he looks fine there. But in that clip, he has put on some years. I mean, he still does it gracefully. Looks much better than any of us.
Well, when you saw the whole Dana Carvey and what's his name? I can't see his name. For we're not worthy.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers. When they did that whole skit for the Oscars, they looked a little old as well.
Yeah,
Dana especially. I was like, holy crap. But anyway.
It's like the risk of plastic surgery, it seems, these days. Because I think Mike Myers has a little bit of that plastic surgery face going on. Where it's either going to make you look 350 years younger. Mm-hmm. Or, older. Like John Travolta, who looks like God. Gollum a little bit. Or it'll do like the whole freaking Dolly Parton thing. And you'll kind of look younger than you did. Granted.
30 years ago.
Fake. But younger than you did, yeah, ever.
I feel like, have you seen pictures of Jennifer Aniston? I feel like she looks literally the same.
She does, yeah. Jennifer Aniston, Pharrell, Paul Rudd.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't age much.
And to be honest, I would also even throw, Mission Impossible guy. Come on, Tom.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, Tom Cruise. He looks, he's got to be in his 60s by now, right?
Do you think he's that old? No way.
I don't think he's that old.
Well, let's see. He was probably, in his 20s when Top Gun came out? And that was like 89. So that's like...
He's 56.
56, yeah, so...
Shit. Damn. Damn.
And I think he looks good for 56.
Yeah, he looks great. Is he older than Brad Pitt? He is older than Brad Pitt.
Really?
How old's Brad Pitt?
50.
55. Fucking Tom Cruise is older than Johnny Depp.
Now, see, Johnny Depp looks 55.
Tom Cruise is 1 year younger than George Clooney.
Holy crap. George Clooney looks 60 to me.
Oh, my God. This is fascinating to me. We're just going to spend this whole episode on Google.
How old is Julia Roberts?
I definitely thought George Clooney was older than that.
Right? Not that he looks... Again, George Clooney looks fantastic.
He looks great. I guess my main point is I just didn't think Tom Cruise was that old.
All right, guesses for Julia Roberts?
52.
Ooh, I'm going to go older. I'm going to go 55.
51. Good guess, Hans.
So, it's funny because I think George Clooney almost reminds me of like a Richard Gere old. And I would say Richard Gere is probably 63? 64?
69.
Really?
Whoa.
Good for him.
69
Good for
years
him.
old. Giggity giggity.
Giggity giggity.
Anyway, now I'm just looking up Game of Thrones cast to see if any of them are younger than me and then are going to make me sad. Okay. Danny and Jon Snow are both older than me, so I'm fine. Great. Today, the spoils of war. Let's spoil some things for some people. Oh, where do you guys want to start here? Season 7, Episode 4.
There's a lot that happens in this episode.
There is, actually.
Which is good
because we haven't... it's been slow to build. I mean, last episode had some good stuff in it, especially towards the end. But the first two, starting off things a little slow, especially for a short season. So the fact that things really pick up here is... oh, God, I'm hicking up. I'm hicking up or hiccuping? Hiccuping, probably.
To hiccup. So, a lot happening. Should we go with like the good stuff or the bad stuff? Because there's really not a lot of bad for me.
Let's go with the bad because I think we will have a lot of good, or I will at least.
So the whole Theon John thing for me just, blech. he's so annoying. But I found like that stuff kind of, I don't care. I was hoping John just beat the shit out of him in front of everyone. I thought that would have been much more John in that sense. I know he kind of like lets him get away because he brought Sansa back, but I found that really annoying. And then the whole Yara, so Theon's being Theon, right? He's essentially left his sister to die, and it's like, why would anyone care about Theon at this point?
It's true. Yeah, he's got like 9 men left.
Yeah, yeah.
There are no ships.
Yeah,
he has no penis. I mean, that sounded dangerous. We're not implying that if you don't have any penis, you have no worth. We're just implying that if you're Theon Greyjoy, we hate you.
Yeah, and I don't remember if is this the episode where Theon like gets in that fight with his men and like gets shit.
No. We got a couple to go.
Okay, so I was trying to remember that one. So yeah, I felt like that was annoying. Obviously, the whole stuff at King's Landing, with Cersei when they're talking about the buying the army and all the gold they're gonna get from where they took the Tyrell money. I don't know. It's filler stuff for me. It makes the ending a little more kind of enjoyable in that sense of where you think maybe the dragon is just burning all of that up, which is kind of cool.
So that's something that I want to talk about.
Sorry.
Because no, you're great. Because when I first saw it, I 100% figured that that's what happened, is that the dragon burned all of that gold.
That makes sense.
I read online that it didn't happen. And then later in the season, we see like Cersei's talking like, oh, no, we're going to buy this army. And I'm like, with what money?
Yeah.
And no, it is, they say it in the episode. Jaime or Bronn or whoever says, all right, we got all the gold into King's Landing. We need to get the rest of these wagons over the Blackwater Rush. We don't want to be caught out in the open or whatever. So yeah, none of the money burned.
Oh, so I forgot that because that was also
too.
confusing for me, which is why I thought the show made a mistake.
Right.
Like, so what is, then it kind of is unclear as to what other things besides some great pyrotechnic stuff they have in these wagons. What else is in there?
Well, I think it was, because the Reach was basically feeding King's Landing at this point. So I think that this was basically
food,
just a shit ton of food and stuff. They're preparing for a siege. And so I still think that this is, tactically is a huge blow to them. But it did seem bigger the first time I saw it.
Mm-hmm. And then it's not that I don't enjoy Dany and Jon at this stage of their kind of like relationship. It's kind of cute and courting, but maybe it wasn't Jorah, who was talking to Jon. Oh, I think it was Davos telling Jon like, oh, I think you like her. Really? Like, that's what you got? Like, from
a lot
like
of people
one,
are picking that up.
From like one interaction. It's like, you guys are all great at this. You guys should be, dating experts at this point.
And they're totally wrong. Nothing's going to happen, y'all.
Yeah. Jon does not
get off it.
He's into men.
They're family, guys. Gross.
Ugh.
Gross.
Blah.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Hans, what did you think? What was your worst?
My worst was the Jon and Theon thing.
Yeah. There's really not a lot that I didn't like about this episode.
Yeah. I don't even think that was a bad moment, to be fair.
No, I'm just saying, if you had to take something I thought was a little slow for me, that was it.
I think some of the brand stuff is like getting a little old.
Okay. No. Let me talk. Hans, that's the fourth word you said, but I'm shutting you up.
Sounds good.
No.
I
love Bran right here because this is so cool to me in that it's so unique. Because Mira's leaving, she's heartbroken. She's like, you don't even care, like blah, blah, blah. And Bran is
a dick.
Not giving a shit. But it's so, like, this is how you would have to portray power like this. It either goes in, like, you become the craziest villain ever. Like, we see all these works of fiction where people come into just bananas works of power. And it either drives them mentally bonkers and insane, and they go lustful for even more power to destroy everything within their path. Or
then they somehow overcome it and they harness that power and they're basically the same exact person, when in reality all of their inhibitions and stuff couldn't be trusted, with the snap of their fingers being something crazy. Bran is how you'd have to portray that power in a quote unquote good way. In a morally upright way, where you basically just have to be completely ambivalent to anything going on around you, because any emotion has to be the most dangerous thing ever. And when everything in the world is in your head, how the hell are you supposed to focus on this teenage girl that has a slight crush on you, who, in the grand scheme of the world about to ending, means anything? So it is a little boring, but I love it. I think it's so good. And I don't know. I just think this show has done something that very, very few works of fiction have done with Bran. I think it's cool.
Well said.
You may resume speaking.
No, I think that's a great point. I do just think it's a little boring.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I think, and I wanted Mira. I mean, it's not that Mira's like it's a romantic thing, but it's like Bran became the brother she was protecting, and I felt like that was cold. Right, and I agree. I agree with you in the sense of to him becoming the Third-Eyed Raven, the omniscient, if you will,
a member of Third-Eyed Blind.
Yep. But I mean, I feel like it has to be like that sort of thing. But I like Mira. I thought she was a cool.
Yeah.
She's a minor character, but I feel like she could have been so much more interesting.
I think this could have been a bit more of an emotional scene, because in the books, Bran does kind of have a thing for Mira, and I don't really think they toyed with that at all in the show.
And I feel like, so that's kind of, I think that's probably where I'm getting most of my thing from the book, in the sense of knowing that, and that doesn't get portrayed in this, which I think would have actually been cool, especially if there was something romantic for this before this transition, and then how much more powerful that would have been.
Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, I do like his interaction with Lord Baelish, though. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Do you guys think that Littlefinger shit himself? From a dude who prepares for everything and who, seemingly tries to see things from any possible angle, he was 100% not ready for Bran to go, chaos is a ladder. The panic in his eyes that he just tries to hide a half second after is so good. Oh, really good work there. That was an awesome scene.
And it's a cool dagger that Bran gets to Arya, and the again, I know there's so much good in this, but when Arya and Brienne are fighting, it is refreshing, and that whole water flow, whatever it's called for her fighting style, was just, it's cool. And I think even Bran is who has essentially been taught power, that's how you battle. And then for Arya to show a lot of skill in such a little bit of time, it was kind of a badass scene.
It was totally badass.
And Podrick would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Podrick's been training for so hard now.
Yeah,
he's almost there. There's a great version of this battle on YouTube you can find where they turn their swords into lightsabers, and I highly recommend it.
Pretty badass.
That's kind of all of our Winterfell stuff,
which was good, right? I mean, I think we enjoyed the stuff at Winterfell.
Things are tense slightly between Arya and Sansa, and Bran just kind of being his new third-eyed blind self. And again, it kind of should be tense. They're playing it right. It's still gonna piss me off in the next couple episodes, just because I do think they kind of force it, but it does pay off nicely, so I'm going to try and not talk about it too much. Do you guys want to go next to Dragonstone? Or, I guess we should probably go to Dragonstone before we go to King's Landing.
Yeah.
Okay. We continue on with the Jon and Daenerys. As Jeremy said, Davos picking up some flirty signs, perhaps. Mm-hmm. They go into a cave together. Daenerys is convinced by cave paintings that Jon totally could have made the day before. And
quick, come in here. What are you doing? I just got to finish something. 1 second. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly. And then all seems to be going well when they get the news of Cersei's very clever, underhanded thing of taking Highgarden out from under them, killing one more of their allies, and removing another piece from the puzzle for Daenerys. And she is pissed. She's pissed at Tyrion. She's pissed at everyone else. She's not letting Jon and Davos leave. She doesn't know what to do. And they start just kind of making plans, and everyone's just kind of trying to rein her in from burning down the Capitol at this point.
So do you think Tyrion, the way he was prior at King's Landing, he made a lot of very intelligent, tactical decisions. And is he just off his game? Is that why he's just getting lit up by Cersei? Or is it literally because he's out of that world now that he's not as in tune with what he should be doing? Because essentially Grey Worm, not Grey Worm, Urian, Greyjoy really just lit them up initially, right? And that was something I'm sure Tyrion was involved in and agreeing that they should be doing this kind of thing with the ships. And now for them to lose another major, not only castle, money, food, all of those things by losing the Tyrell, the house. It's essentially like, I don't blame Dany. And if I was Dany, I would want some sweet, sweet revenge.
Yeah. I think that it's probably, there's a level of Cersei has jumped the shark in a way that I'm not sure if Tyrion's totally unaware of yet. She is definitely more calculated than before. But I think there's also an element of he is under the impression that he knows who he's dealing with, which he certainly does, but he is not thinking about the fact that they know who he is as well.
That's true. I would totally agree.
And how he's going to operate. And I think that is just an overlooked thing that Cersei's jumping on. And, as we said in the last episode, doing a killer job of outplaying them right now.
Right.
With the shorter hand. So, but it's cool. They get pissed, and then things start to kind of pop off. But I do want to just stay at Dragonstone for a moment. Did you guys catch that Davos picked up a little tick from Stannis Baratheon? Did you guys catch this? I don't remember what Jon says. Something. We have less men. And Davos just goes, fewer.
Oh, really?
Gets a little, gets a little grammar Nazi on him.
I didn't even notice that.
Well, it's because he didn't have his penis out. I feel like if he had his penis out when he said it, we would be paying more attention.
We'd be rewinding, pausing, snapping some pics.
He did. Your Grace, this is my member. It's the member of the Crabber son. But no, maybe next season. Who's to say?
Maybe. I hope so.
And then, does anybody? We got one thing left. Does anyone want to name any other part, their favorite part, before we go and touch on this thing?
Nah.
Fantastic. We go to this caravan of things, taking everything, apparently, but the gold, from Highgarden to King's Landing. And out of freaking nowhere, we get these Apache-style yips, and the Dothraki ride. They crest the hill. The people start, preparing siege lines, and Jaime and Rickon/Dickon are freaking out. And then all of a sudden, roaring dragon. Dany's making moves of her own, and this is like, we've seen the dragons be brutal, but I think from a brutality of war perspective, this might be the first time we're seeing what they do to mass groups of people and having to stick around, and what it's doing to the psyche of these battle-hardened generals. And it's brutal. It's messed up.
Oh, they straight up wreck that army.
Yeah. Oh, I honestly don't even know what to say about it. Do you guys have any particularly favorite moments from this incredible few minutes?
No.
Okay.
It was all just so good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, so when the dragon's doing the low flying and just wrecking lines of people, I enjoy that stuff. That's what you want to see, right?
For sure.
But anytime they land on people and tear them apart, that's always enjoyable.
The dragon is enjoyable through and through. I think one of my favorite things is is Bronn kind of, trying to regain his composure, trotting along towards one of these Dothraki Screamer Bloodrather guys. And, they're going along. We see the move. We know what Bronn's going for. He's going for that dagger, and he just chucks it, and the Dothraki just, bats it away. And then Bronn's like, oh, shit, okay, fine, we'll do this. And then the Dothraki, changes the game, bends down, and cuts his horse's leg off. Bronn's tricks, they're not working. Jamie's military tactics, they're not working. Yeah. These guys are being outplayed on every angle.
And how do they get away so effectively, right? You would think that this army that is completely surrounded and getting wrecked, that they would have been able to have noticed the main general, if you will, is not there, right? That would be someone that these people would be looking for to capture.
Well, I think so many people were incinerated. The last time Daenerys saw him, he was about to be incinerated. So... It could very well be assumed that he just got melted.
Yeah, and you'd have to hold your breath a long time to get out of that.
Yeah, that's just not believable to me. That's all.
Out of that area.
With all that armor, he's drowning in that water. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did appreciate about it. Again, it is just cool enough for me to kind of let it go. I did appreciate it about it. This is an ending like we get in a chapter of the book, which we don't see a ton of in the show, which is kind of cliffhangers. It's basically Jaime get knocked off the horse by Bronn. You see them splash into the water. You see them floating down for a second, and then it's off. Right. And you assume that if they were going to kill him, they would have just let him burn. But it still leaves it up in the air, which I like better than them showing them, because they could have ended the episode with them beaching and then still looking over at the dragon and still feeling defeated. It still could have conveyed a good sense of dread and of hopelessness to the situation. But I liked the angle that they went with instead, which is something the books does a lot.
So do you think, I don't even remember the show, they talk about essentially how much of the army is just wiped out? Because this obviously isn't the entire Lannister army. There's this. There's kind of
a pretty small force of it, I think.
Right. But is it just a total slaughter? I don't remember them capturing anyone from this one.
No. Because that's the very last thing we see, and then in the next episode, they kind of have a few rounded up people that Daenerys deals with, and then Jaime kind of talks about just the ridiculous hopelessness of trying to fight something like that.
Right. So, that's right. That's the dad and son where she says bend the knee kind of thing. Yeah. That was Dany being Dany.
But for all the things that they did not succeed in, they did wound Drogon. The weapon works.
What is that thing called again?
Luckiest shot in the world.
Scorpion.
Yeah, no way in hell that dude's making that shot, but okay.
One, to never use it and suddenly gets up and is like, oh, I know how to work this. This is easy. Let me just a little over here, a little click there, line that up, click, done. Almost kill shot, cool.
Well, you don't know he has never used it.
You don't know that he has.
No, I don't know that he has, and I'm probably betting that he has not.
Exactly.
Pretty sweet. I think my favorite kill doesn't even go to the dragon. It goes to the Dothraki jumping on the trailer when Bronn unloads that thing and just launches him.
What a waste of an arrow, though. But that you could almost hear the huh?
Gets the bug eyes when he gets hit by it. Yeah. Satisfying.
It was the episode, again, lots of solid stuff in it, and I don't know if the episode would be in my top 5 episodes, but this sequence is definitely in my top 5 scenes of the show thus far.
It's powerful when Jaime's riding his horse towards the dragon. Game of Thrones up until this point has given you major characters dying. And so you're like, is this Dany going down? That would be, think about what that would have done for the show.
Well, I mean, I was thinking of it. Is it Jaime going down?
Oh, I don't know. You get this like it's just one spear, right? I mean,
it's true. And they do make a point a lot of the time to say like all it would take is one lucky
arrow, one spear, yeah.
So it would be fitting.
Right? And again, Dany's doing something again that her advisors say, don't fucking do that shit. We keep telling you no. And she's like, I'm going to ride on the back of the bitch. I'm out. Fuck you, bitches.
She's like, Daenerys Targaryen, please don't. Bitch, I'm going. You can't stop me. I'm the mother of dragon.
Dragon, let's go in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like, Dragon, you're my best friend. We are besties for life.
Oh, well, that is season 7, episode 4, The Spoils of War. Of course, the spoils of breakfast is something we also explore in today. Hans is our dedicated breakfaster. I'm uncertain, but I am certain that you have an orange bourbon scone.
That is correct.
Hans, I feel so bad because I feel like I've cut you off a couple times this episode and that I haven't allowed you to say much. And I don't want you to ever feel like I'm holding your tongue. So please, to your heart's content, tell me about this scone.
Yeah, let me tell you about it. So, I'm going to name drop a little bit. Used Angel's Envy bourbon.
Okay.
In this scone, and
it
had a nice orange marmalade mix in there to capture the orange side of things. The moistest is that a word? The most moist. that's just kind of hard to say. It's almost like a tongue twister. But anyway, she was wet. It actually ended up. After baking it was okay. It was fine. It was your normal scone texture, but the baking process was just ridiculous. The turned out really good. I accompanied it by a nice little homemade whiskey butter. Used a different whiskey for the butter just to mix it up. Used a little bit sweeter whiskey. Used a wheat whiskey in there. A little bit richer. Thought that would complement the butter well, and then of course I paired it with a nice whiskey as well.
A third whiskey?
A third whiskey. Ooh. I like to do my whiskeys in triplets, especially at breakfast time.
Triple tipples.
Yeah, no. So it was very good.
All right, are you down with GOT?
Yeah, you know me.
Oh yeah, and also you can go to thronesandscones.com to see things. What kind of things, Jeremy?
All kinds of things. So you can see our email.
No, that's not there.
You can see.
Probably should be.
You could see like places defined like our podcasts, like Spotify and Apple and
Thrones and Scones, available exclusively at Target.
And Target. We are on Target. You can see our sweet like image that we had created, which is still one of the coolest things ever. We're working on t-shirts as of today.
We're not working on t-shirts.
Yeah.
Are you working on t-shirts?
I mean, I feel like I'm going to print that shit. That's what I'm going to do.
Jeremy has taken over t-shirts.
I want a great trucker hat with that image.
Jeremy's VIP of merch.
VIP of merch.
Not VIP.
VP?
VP of merch.
VP of merch.
Have you guys seen the comeback of the fanny pack now in the world? Have you seen this?
No. Oh my gosh.
It's fucking everywhere now. Recently,
Teenage Tony would be so happy.
Recently, I had a surgical resident that was down grabbing lunch, and we were talking, and he was rocking this fanny pack that had USA across it. And I said, dude, that is a sweet fanny pack. And he was like, there is nothing better than this fanny pack in my life. And I'm like, live that dream.
So is it still... Okay, so I understand the name. It's a fanny pack. That's fine. But is it still technically a fanny pack if you're wearing it on the front? Which is where almost everyone wears it.
It's true. I'm uncertain here. But I think that's where it's meant to be worn as well, isn't it?
Then why... I feel like why is it called a fanny pack then?
Because it wraps around your fanny so you can pack it.
Not really, though.
Is it a British thing? Because the British call the vaginal area a fanny.
Do they really?
No, they do not. Really? That's
they
awesome.
do.
That's probably what it
A
is,
moist
then.
fanny.
Oh no.
So then is it so then I guess the age-old question, is it really only meant to be worn by women?
By British women, yeah. Young Tony wore a fanny pack on vacation
You fucking did not.
until he was 15 years old. Just throwing that out there. It was cool before and after the curve. Ugh.
I'm thinking that's our first merch, is the sweet fanny pack.
Is the Thrones and Scones fanny pack? Who else is selling a fanny pack?
Yeah, exactly. We will make a
Answer no.
killing.
Well, I think we don't want to discriminate though. So obviously we'll have a fanny pack, we'll have a manny pack.
Of course. What's the difference?
Good question.
Here's the thing. There's no difference. The only difference is the packaging, and for one of them, we have to charge more money because that's how consumerism works.
Definitely
Yeah,
need to
definitely.
sell the manny pack for more.
Yeah. Do you think so? I think it's normally the feminine products that get the upcharge.
I know, but we want more of the feminine viewers out there to know that we see them and we respect them, and
So
we
we're
want them
like-
to have the good stuff.
We're tacking on reparation pay into the manny
essentially.
pack.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Respect.
Is it oh god. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
It's too late.
Do we need a tranny pack?
You're right. You shouldn't have said it.
I just don't want to discriminate. All's welcome.
Do we keep that in? And then a granny pack
Oh, God.
for the elderly.
I think they're all fair. Again, all is welcome to Thrones and Scones.
I'm sweating down my neck, y'all.
Maybe end it.
Yeah.
Maybe end it. Maybe end it all.
Maybe in the
It's been a fun ride, you guys. We'll see you on our next podcast.
Bye.